Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, to another Pep Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking shop about some more Stormtrooper armor. Oh boy, my shirt's a little see-through. What are you going to do? Last time we were talking about our Stormtrooper armor, which we are almost done with. We just still have a little bit of... hello there. We still have a little bit of the leg armor to get through, and of course the forearms, but I think just about everything else was done. And I am actually right now in the very middle of working on the unfold of the helmet. I found perhaps not the most accurate Stormtrooper helmet, but I found what I consider to be the coolest Stormtrooper helmet pep for an ANH, for a New Hope hero helmet. Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Melvin. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, everybody, tonight. My green screen's going haywire behind me, and I cannot, for the life of me, fix it. So it's happening. This is happening. So we're just going to we're gonna chill. We're gonna do some unfolding. You can see I've already kind of gotten pretty far into this particular model, so maybe we just save it for now. We'll open something else up. Let's see here. I recently finished up this tank trooper, as well as, let's see, for those of you who've been here, I've done this helmet already. I did a shore trooper, but I went through and I edited the model a little bit, so now we've got some more rounded features. I might have the old unfold here still. Is it? Yeah, this is what it looked like before. You can see it was a lot more angular in some of these features. There was this weird edge there, but I actually just went through, and I didn't even shunt it into Blender or anything. I don't know where the fourth is. Come join, say hello. But you can see I've gone through and I've really smoothed out some of the details. So these templates are just better, I think. So I'm going to be updating those files from that older live stream, but I'm really liking some of the newer trooper helmets. They're very clean looking, and even if they don't have the same round charm that some of the older Stormtrooper helmets have. They've been really fun to unfold, as has, let's see, I just finished up a phase 1 clone trooper too. The clone troopers between phase 1 and phase 2 did not change, I think, that significantly. Like, I do like the design of the phase 2 clone trooper a lot, but a lot of the shapes are fundamentally the same shapes. You know, you still got this band around here. This area in the back is totally the same. This is pretty similar. The earpiece, the cheek recess. Arguably, the only real difference is the way it sort of meets the sort of rebreather area of this here. And then, of course, this here is my Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet. This is the one that I've had on sale in my Etsy store. I do sell a couple just to... yeah, you're right. The change really is just to the tubes and the fin. And I do like it. I like the proportion of it a lot better. But I'm actually going to be fixing this guy up too, even for my Etsy. So we're gonna be doing a lot of Stormtrooper related pep tonight. So I think, just so that we can get it out of the way, why don't we open up, go ahead and we'll open up, not Superliminal, not tonight. We're going to open up our Stormtrooper armor, and let's dive in, let's finish up some of these pieces so that we can just kind of marvel at some really cool helmet designs. So I've got, let's see, ooh, it's a little bright. I'm going to move that off me just a little. So I have got, let's see here. Boop-a-doop, don't need that. The ab plate, did I do the ab plate? I've already done the ab plate. I did the ab plate the other night, I think, on my other computer. Surprise, I have 2 computers that I do this on, so sometimes things get a little wonky. We did the belt. The belt is done. We did the butt plate. We turned the butt plate into one piece. Which files? The Stormtrooper armor I'm going to try and finish up tonight. So we're gonna have a full set of Stormtrooper armor that you just for free for download. Had contact lines in Pepakura. Interesting. That's an interesting question. Landon, what do you mean by contact lines? I'm curious what you're getting at there. In the meantime, I'm going to open up a gauntlet, and we'll start unfolding it, and maybe we can answer your question along the way. I'm just going to jump into the 3D menu, edit mode, specify some cut line edges. I'm seeing pretty easy shapes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out sort of the fins on this as their own pieces. And note that I'm leaving the edge that connects them connected to the larger pieces, and you'll see why in a moment. What we won't need, or at least we shouldn't need, is going to be the edge running around the sort of the ends of the tubes here. So we're going to take this piece, there we go, and then we're going to just sort of get rid of this part all the way around. We don't need it. It's one sort of big tube piece. It's just not necessary. The lines on each edge of piece to know you lining it up good. Oh, you mean like registration marks or God, there's another word for it when you're sewing, but it's escaping me right now. Can you add them? It's not super easy to add them, but you can kind of trick it. Actually, let me just see here. Nope. We're going to come right back to this because you can sort of do it on this one. But a great example would be this guy, where I actually, on his head, you'll note that you can kind of see there's lots and lots of faces in there. So I just kept some of the lines, and that's where it lines up. See, so even though, because you can kind of see how this helmet in particular, you might get lost on this seam given how long it is. So let's say I wanted to be super generous. I was very concerned about where things were lining up. Let's say I wanted to make sure that the center line on this long piece here lined up with where the two dome pieces line up. I could go to that piece. It's right here. And I could add a line right there. And see, now that's going to line up right along there. And I don't feel the need to do that for a ton of my pieces. I find that it's actually more worth it to kind of overdo it and then just grind back to what you need. Or in the case of, like, let's say this cheek recess right here, I think that each of these lines individually is short enough. It's going to be hard for it to get away from you. But I can see how it could. So let's say between this piece and this bottom piece, I wanted a mark. I could, it's going to be kind of a long mark, but I could do that, and then I could go find on the piece that and that. Ooh, I eyeballed that. You're right. There's no way to add a mark if there's no cut. There are ways to sort of trick it. Like, for instance, you could say add an image of a line, like a rectangle. You could just physically set it on the pattern in Pepakura. I don't like to do that. Normally, if I'm adding registration marks, it's really only for domes, or you can take the PDF versions and shunt them into other programs like, say, Photoshop. You can add lines in there wherever you want, because at that point you're basically manipulating it as like an image and not the 3D to 2D thing. But no, you do need a line there. And it's worth noting that if you're planning far enough ahead in this process, you can sort of add places where those lines are. So to that end, let's jump back to our gauntlet here. No, I'm not going to save those changes. There we go. So let's say I was concerned about getting a seam right all the way along this piece, which I think might be a bit of a stretch of the imagination, but let's just say it. What we could do is we could edit model, and then we can divide this edge here, creating an X in between both of these, and then when I go through and I do this, now it creates a little line right there. The Stormtrooper helmet, the Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmet is part of a package that I'm releasing tonight that's going to include the tank trooper, shore trooper, scout trooper, and of course the whole Stormtrooper armor, if I can get my butt in gear, if I can stop answering. No, I'm kidding. This is what I do these live streams for. But yeah, no, I'm going to be, it's going to be available. The only one that's not really going to be available tonight is I've been working on and I am not close to being done with a First Order Trooper. I know it's a little redundant. I know there's a lot of patterns out there for it, but I've been working on one. That and the Phase 2 Clone Trooper, which I do sell. I sell my Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet. It's one of the only things I do, one of the only patterns I do sell. It's more or less a way for you to support the channel if you really want that particular helmet. It's like $3. It's almost nothing. So let's go ahead and unfold this here. Height. Hang on, I need to reset the model. Okay, so this thing, it's kind of at an angle. So we want to unfold it. In terms of height, it's only like 6 inches max. No, that's too big. Maybe 5. Ugh. Sometimes these things are in here at kind of an angle, and there's not a great way to fix that. So you just kind of roll with it. I don't want flaps, so instead we're going to take all of the pieces that are just side pieces. We're going to clean those up super quick here. Set them aside because we don't want them. So what I'm doing right now is I punched into my keyboard Control-N, which is the key command for join and disjoin faces, and now I am just doing that. I'm just joining and disjoining these faces to get them sort of close-ish together, because I don't want to leave them messy, but I don't really need them. So now we've got, looks like 3 big pieces and 3 pieces that sort of go on them. So that's what we're gonna do. Just gonna tidy them up, try and make all of these darts a little tinier. Little tinier. Go. And then same thing here. We're gonna make sure that that little edge is on there on all of these, because those are essentially turning into a flap. A flap that we'll use to assemble the thinner strips onto the larger pieces. And in that way, it should be pretty damn easy to put this together. Like, arguably, the longest thing about building the forearm of the Stormtrooper is just making sure that your edges are very, very clean, and that your joins are all super smooth. Speaking of which, join adjacent edges, maximize that threshold, and now these pattern parts are going to be super clean. We're unchecking the cut line and hidden line markers because we're just going to go like this and hide basically every line except for these lines where what's happening here is you're seeing the edge of the material right there, but we're using that as a flap to set these pieces onto these larger pieces. And in that way, because this is so separate, normally if I were to do this, say freehand, if I were just kind of going for it, I would essentially make probably a two-piece arm and just make markings where I would put strips on it. But because we're doing it for Pep, we're doing it, let's say, slightly more accurate, slightly more concretely accurate, I should say. Here we go. And I'm just going to move those off because we don't want them. Yeet them out. Print and paper, letter, because I'm a filthy American. And I'm going to widen the margins a little bit because I've noticed, just test printing a couple of these, that the margins of my paper need to be pretty wide because I have a terrible printer. Just awful. I don't know about you guys, but like sometimes I will have to think pretty heavily about my printer while designing these templates, because otherwise I will never be able to use these templates. There we go. So that's not gonna fit there. So let's just kind of cram it here. Oh shoot, I did not erase those lines. That's okay. Ah, too much. Control Z, undo. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I've been on kind of a trooper kick lately. And I really do owe it primarily to The Mandalorian, because, you know, it's just been so much hype for the OG Stormtroopers lately. It's been great. They've really had a chance to look cool. I think I've talked about it here before, which I'm just really happy that, you know, Stormtroopers are just a little more tactical in The Mandalorian, and they're not just cannon fodder. They're like troopers, which is awesome. All right, so let's go ahead. I'll just save that as is. Sweet. And then let's do the thigh. Wait. Let's do that thigh, because it's more fun. And because if you've got this thigh, you've basically got the other thigh. Basically. So, actually, is this two objects? It's not. That's okay. So let's go ahead. Specify cut line edges. And you know what? My heart's not in this. My heart's not in the trooper thigh right now. Let's go back to some of the trooper helmets. They're really fun. They're really cool, and I kind of want to just keep going. Oh, I never showed you guys. This is the biker trooper helmet. This is arguably the cleanest unfold. I'm most happy with this one. If for no other reason than it's really fun because, ooh, I forget, is this, nope, that's one object. Basically, it actually is constructed as though it were the OG helmet, where the faceplate like flips up. So like from here forward could flip up or just be taken off. So if you wanted to, you could construct this just like that. Back to butt plate. No, I'm not gonna open the butt plate again, Lord. But you know, I do kind of feel like just chugging along on the helmet. I was actually having fun with that. No, not this one. This one's fun, but it's too complicated and I don't want to do it. This is the one I want to do. I actually like the dome of this one better. Would you ever do the Rebels helmets? Oh, like the Rebels Stormtrooper helmets? Those things are cool. Those things were really cool. If for no other reason, then they kind of got some whack proportions in there in a way that really highlight how weird they are as helmets. No, I thought about doing stuff from the animated series more so. It's just never been something I've gotten around to, which is weird, right? Like I really like the animated series. I've just never really gotten around to it. I suppose with all the like Fortnite builds I've been doing, I definitely could lend some time to doing some more cartoony Star Wars builds. You're right, they did have different designs. They had some very, I would say they looked a little more Mcqueary, almost Ralph Mcqueary. Let me just see here. Ralph Mcqueary, Stormtrooper. Yeah, I know that it's not quite the same, but I do think that at least in proportion, there was definitely it was animated trooper. Yeah, I think that their stormtroopers were really just focused way more on the sort of scowl and menacing look. I don't know. I haven't seen a scout trooper from them. It kind of looks like the same, unless you're talking about like this design of helmet. I don't know. I don't know. but they're cool. Actually, arguably, the thing I like about Rebels in terms of like its Imperial design is that it was less afraid of organic shapes, which is part of what makes the OG Stormtrooper gear look so menacing. It's a very face-like shape. Yeah, no, I noticed Ezra's. I don't know. Those are interesting because they're a lot like. They're a lot like. I don't want that. They're a lot like other Disney. Disney sort of troopers where they've got a lot of flat faces on them. Like the shape is still similar, but it's not the same thing. Here we go. Let's unfold the other half of this dome. You can see I've kind of delineated the dome into like a top piece and a round the edge piece. So let's just even it out between the two. Yeah, my heart's in this. This is a lot better. Sorry, everybody. It's been kind of a rough day. There's just been a lot going on, and I'm really glad to be live streaming now. But I gotta do the things that I actually want to do here. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. The one thing that is rough about this particular model, not even this helmet, but this model, is that unfortunately, it's not just a bunch of polygons, it's mostly triangles. Like you can see, all of these square faces are broken down into triangle faces. And that just means that it can take a little bit more time to sort of parse through everything and make sure that you're actually getting the right face and everything's... see, because I can't just double-click square by square. I've got to actually separate by triangle because I'm moving 2 polygons at once, and my life is hell. Here we go. One moment. Here we are. Gross human noises. Not fit for the microphone. There we go. No future was there in London for a poor man's son like me. So I left my home and went to seek my fortune on the sea. I signed aboard a merchant ship bound for the West Indies, and 6 weeks in we packed into the winds of piracy. There were sails on the horizon, and we tried to make a run. And when we saw that black flag, then our running it was done. And when those pirates boarded us, they told us one by one, you can die or join our crew, me boys. Time flies when you're having rum. Time flies when you're having rum, me boys. Time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough. Time flies when you're having rum. Here we go. Oh god, I actually don't know how whistling sounds on this mic. I really hope that didn't hurt somebody's ears. Here we go. No, they never no more will I play the wild rover. No, never no more. I've been a wild rover for many's a year, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. And now I'm returning with gold in great store, and I never will play the wild rover no more, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I went to an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady my money was spent. And I've forgotten the words. Such a custom of yours I can have any day, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. There we go. So now we got two halves of the helmet there. That's super nice. So we got the dome sort of split up there. You can see I've kind of already broken up the face here. We got the main sort of scowl of the head. And then this is the piece that wraps around the back. And I sort of split it around where the cup of the ear goes. You can kind of see that shape right here. And then this is the brow piece that it sort of goes under, but also over places. And then we've got one eye already sort of unfolded there. And then these two pieces are sort of the, I want to say they call them traps. They call them trapezoids. Like the 501st refers to them as the trapezoids of the helmet or something like that. You'll note that I am not, I am in no way affiliated with 501st. I would love to make a 501st approved something someday, but that is just not gonna happen anytime soon. Although Christmas came and went, and with it came this I've actually got two of these, two big honkin' tubs of monster clay. So I'm gonna try and get into sculpting and resin stuff soon. So that should hopefully be a lot of fun. I don't know. I kind of want to start small. I've been doing a lot of Mando stuff lately. Is there something that's of his that's really cool, like a small prop on Mando's kit that would be really cool? I don't know. It seems like a lot. It seems like a lot, even if I am like super interested in it. I'm really excited about the prospect of sculpting some stuff too. I've really wanted to go through and learn more sculpting techniques than foam. Not that I do an entire Baby Yoda. Ah! A whole Baby Yoda, you say? Oh my gosh. Why don't I just start with all of Baby Yoda? No, I get that. Like, I won't lie, I've thought about it, and I've had people... I have close friends who have already sort of recommended some things for me, and I don't know, I feel like if I was going to, like, just start out, I thought about making, like, oh god, what is it? They've got that money in the first episode, like the very first episode of The Mandalorian. You can't pay him in Imperial units, so he pays him in, like, Mon Cal money. It's, like, purple. And I thought about doing that, just like a few of those Mon Cal coins, because first off, that's a really fun sort of mixed ink there into the resin, and second of all, like I can do just sort of like a press mold for that, because that's the other thing. It's not just sculpting. Like it's not just like air dryer or baking clay. I want to like try and sculpt and mold something. I think that would be really cool. Coins are always kind of a great thing for that, I hear. So I've been told, not that I've done. Alright, let's see here. And then I've started the tubes. The tubes are sort of separated here and there. Okay, it's a little messy, but there. And then this is the sort of over the mouth grill here. Oof, that is dense. That is a dense web. Oh boy, you can see I'm trying really hard here to make it clean on top of everything else, and boy oh boy is it fighting me at every turn. Because I kind of want all these lines to run sort of from like the back of the helmet to the front of the helmet. And they don't want to. They just don't. I could not tell you why. I wish they would. Okay, and then this sort of tapers off down here, so I suppose we could start working our way in from this side. Maybe that would be a little easier. My voice is just going today. Ugh. Hope you and yours are staying safe this holiday season. Mine are doing just okay, and that's, boy oh boy is that something. Sorry, just lost in some thoughts there. Here we go. Let's see here. This is getting really wide up here, and I kind of don't like that. I get that there's kind of a gnarly sort of pinch right there in the shape, but I want to smooth it out so that I could basically heat form that in rather than it being a bunch of joins over this very smooth area. Like Kamui Cosplay did a, or comic, I hope it's Kamui. I hope I didn't just botch that. Has a really great tutorial on making an Imperial TIE fighter pilot's garb, and she makes the helmet, but she ends up with a really smooth shape, especially on the rebreather, but she does it in like 8 pieces on both sides, and that's too many pieces. Like, you can't argue with the end result on some level, but on another level, I'm like, that takes way too much time and is really unnecessary. Now, I mean, maybe it's not unnecessary. One could also argue that the shape is very, very good. I don't know. It feels like way too much work for that particular shape, especially when foam is such a malleable material. It really, really wants to bend. There we go. She did make the Mando rifle. I did see that. She did a good job with that. I really like that. But it's also one of those things where I think that is the kind of thing where it just outright makes sense to do fewer shapes for that, and it looks really good because of that. Oh, I don't like the way that pinches. Can I sort of shunt this over? Sorta. Nope. That's pretty close, actually. It's a lot closer than you'd think. Like, I get that there's a lot of open faces here, but I actually think that may be less of an issue than you might think initially. Especially since this edge is supposed to meet a whole nother piece right here. Yes. Arguably, the original Stormtrooper helmet is the one that's giving me the most trouble because it has almost no flat faces. Everything's like a weird rounded shape that's sort of a samurai helmet, but not. Space Japan. Oh gosh, The Sims just released 2 different packs. They released a Star Wars pack and their like winter season one, which is really just like a lot of Japanese architecture. And so I was just like, wow, you can really just dig in on how Star Wars is just Japan. Just Japan Star Wars. Here we go. Okay, so this sort of nestles in there. Good. I'll start running some of these darts towards the back of this because I don't need that to be clean. Let's see here. Does any of this intersect? It does not. What happens, pray tell, if I just join these edges as is? Not bad. Not great, but not bad. I think we can do better, but that's actually not terrible. I was really nervous that was going to be way worse than it was, but it was not. I'm trying to sort of trick it into a more, there we go, a smoother shape here. There we go. See, Now we're getting a slightly smoother shape here. There's still kind of a point there, but the model has kind of a point there, so there's not really a lot we can do about that. Go. Yeah, that might end up being the final unfold, and that is messy enough that I'm going to leave it for after the stream so that I can even it out. Let's see. So then we got the inner face of this here, which I've sort of turned into a piece that sort of wraps around this, and then this oval that goes in the middle. And then all of this I sort of made one piece. The grill of the mouth. So I'm going to try and clean this up into one piece that I can sort of make as its own thing. So you can sort of layer the pieces right next to each other. That's kind of the goal with this. And arguably, once you separate those pieces out, a lot of the rest of this is just cleaning up the different shapes. See, because this goes there. And then these guys are just, they're just slightly funky. They're slightly funky cylinders. That's all they are. The funkiest of cylinders. And then let's see. That's the other side that goes down there. This is sort of the side piece of one of those, so we don't need that. And arguably we don't need that either, which means they're unfolded. Put those over there. What's this? This is actually a piece that I was going to take and do another thing, sort of like what I did. What is going on here? Oh, there we go. There we go. So this is actually something I'm going to add to the dome piece on the bottom edge, so that when I glue it together, I can actually fit it sort of underneath this piece right here. So when I go like this, whapa, there it is. It's kind of like what we did on our Halo Infinite helmet. For anybody who saw that particular live stream, this is a very similar style of construction. We'll do the same thing right here. Woohoo, woohoo, no, 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 don't want that. Don't want that like that, I want just this. There we go. I like the method of using Pepakura edges as sort of flaps for construction. I find it to be very elegant, and it helps remove the ambiguity of some of the crafting process sometimes. Okay, there we go. That goes there. Again, just back and forth right here. Sweet. Oh, and of course, this is going to go along this edge as well. Note that I'm letting these darts get a little away from me because they're not actually about shape for me. They're just about being used as flaps, so I don't need the shape to be perfect. What is this? This is under one of the front brims. We will not need this. This is one of those edges, which we do not need either. Actually, where's the other one? It's down there. We don't need that. It's unfolded. It's already done. This goes around the eye, as does this one. Right there. There we go. So I might addend that to the eye. I'm going to make a decision about that later. Might not be super important because it's not for foam construction. It's for like the other parts of this. This is the whole grill of the mouth, which I may actually leave as is, but end this piece right here. Oh, nope. Scratch that. I'm going to do right there and right there. And then I'll just erase the lines until it reveals the pattern of the grill of the mouth, and that can sort of be a layered piece. I know it's going to be a little wide, but foam will allow for that sort of stretch. All right, what else we got over here? This is something we're going to tackle in a minute. Oh, this is the other eye. I could do the other eye piece real quick. The eyes are slightly cupped, which means that there are some small darts to them. They're not just... If you find a Stormtrooper template that hands you a model that has no cup to the eye at all, it's just like flat, it's wrong. It's incorrect. Arguably, if you have a flat template of a round shape, it's going to need to be larger than the space it's meant to occupy, because it will need to bend, and therefore it needs more material. So topology with Jaden. There we go. Whee! Just trying to make this as even as possible over here. There we go. See? Nothing simpler. 2 eyes. Oh, that's so spooky how it highlights red in the 3D window over there. And then this will actually leave me with not very much left to do after this live stream, so I'm quite grateful for that. So this piece we're kind of tricking by sort of cramming this together like this. See, I'm letting it hug the inner edge so that those pieces line up a little harsher. And this round piece does sort of a similar thing. But just sort of in the opposite direction of its counterpart. There it is. And that'll just fit in there in a minute. Okay, what else? What else? This is more parts of this piece. Actually, to that end, this piece goes there, basically. And look, it's basically all done. Why would I... How do lenses how do you do lenses like... How would you do the eyes for a real-world model? Great question. I tend to use pre-made visors and cut them to size. It's super simple. They're actually quite cheap. And here you can actually see, for anybody who watched my Captain Rex build, that's what this is. This is just a tinted visor. And they do flex. They do bend quite a little bit. And if you are patient, you can actually use a heat gun. And you can just gingerly mold them into place. And that's probably what I do, is I basically cut these lenses like kind of wide, like outside of the actual lens, and then I would gingerly heat it up and bend it over a round surface, and then I would glue it so that the outer edge of the eye meets the eyepiece, like the socket where it goes around that. And that's kind of how I would actually tackle that. Let's see what's going on here. This, oh, that's the interface of there, and this is the opposite interface. Cool how that just sort of separated out. Let's see here. What's this? Oh, this goes around all of these parts, which I am hoping that I can sort of turn this into one big piece there in the sort of grip there. For a model like Emil's in Halo Reach. Emil's Noble 4. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, this guy. I've seen this guy. Okay, so the truth of the matter is, I want to look at this image. Hang on. The truth of the matter is, I probably wouldn't make most of this a see-through visor. What I would probably do is basically make most of this not see-through. I'd make it like out of foam, or I'd model it in some way. Then I would cut out this space. And then for this particular shape, because I know that doing mirrored lenses is very difficult, and that's not to say it's outside of the realm of possibility. What I probably do is I have some... I think Evil Ted did a really good thing about this. There are these, they're mirrored like half masks. You can see through them pretty easily. Odin Makes actually used one as a fun sort of side project. What you can do is you can paint over the sections that you don't, need, and then you leave the mirrored sections free for the visibility because you can see through it. I want to say Party City sells them for like $1. They're super cheap. So basically what I do is I do a foam build, carve out this section, probably scuff that mask and glue it inside of it so that you've got sections that you can see through. Your visibility is still pretty good. You've mimicked the overall thing. You've got a paintable surface that's foam that works in a way that you would normally want to make a build, but you're kind of getting the best of all the worlds in terms of construction. And so anyways, that's probably how I'd do something like that. More complicated structures require more elegant solutions, if you will. Once you get into really crazy stuff, like I'm gonna be doing a Halo mask at some point here. I've got the templates all cut out, and we unfolded those on live stream. It was a lot of fun. I'm probably going to do that with a fake lens just because I want to get a lot of detail in there. But I'd probably go through the act of, say, putting together a really solid, like either sculpting, or say, either sculpting it or say doing a full paper Pepakura of it, and then slush casting that with some resin, like just slushing some plastic resin in there, so that you have a hard buck. And then you could try to hand heat form it, but honestly what you probably want is a vacuum forming machine, because the vacuum forming machine could pull down on a buck in a more intense way, in a way that would actually give you the shapes you're looking for, because what you want are those details, those grooves, and those slightly geodesic things. And sure, you can kind of make that by making a multi-piece lens, but you're gonna have to stick that all together. You're gonna have to. So what I would say is that you're probably going to be better off either A, taking the dive and building yourself or buying yourself a vacuum forming machine, or finding somebody who's already got it. There's no shame in finding the part you need, because sometimes there's the reality that I would love a vacuum forming machine for the sake of doing really complex visors and things, and doing runs of that. But do I need that? Do I want that? Like, will I use it often enough for me to just buy this tool? And there are probably not right now. Like, I'm just getting into resin and sculpting, so I don't know if I would need that. They are expensive. You can build them, I hear, fairly cheaply, but you're gonna need to go to town on some wiring stuff. And I'm getting better at electrical work, but I'm not. I don't know how confident I am bringing that into my home. Like, I would definitely, if I had an exterior shop space that wasn't just my apartment, I'd probably consider building one more. I'd bust out my soldering iron, and I'd get all the wire I need, and I'd build all the heating elements and switches, and I'd go to town. but I just don't know if I feel as good about that. Honestly, tell you what, the day Harbor Freight releases a kit for it, I'll probably take the type. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, this is basically done. It just needs to be pretty severely cleaned up. And I'll do that. I'm gonna do that off stream because we're winding down here. So yeah, today we're going to be releasing a whole bunch of templates. I'm gonna wrap up, probably do one more piece of the Stormtrooper armor. Maybe I'll finally do that thigh piece. But then, so yeah, we're gonna be putting links to the Biker Scout helmet. We're gonna be putting links to the. I'm probably just gonna put these all in the same folder and just sort of put them together. But yeah, no, I got the Tank Trooper. I've got a lot of really niche troopers that I hope people enjoy. I hope that these templates really go somewhere for somebody. I think the Tank Trooper is really cool because that's been featured a lot lately. And it's pretty simple. Like this visor piece is like 3 pieces just because of that funky little detail there. But then it's the basic side front over the head. There's a fun detail in the middle here. There's a fun detail in each of these guard things. But then this is just one big piece. And then this is just a piece. And that's just one piece. And it's pretty simple. So I really hope to see somebody go for it on that. Or even on this guy. Because the OG Phase 1 Clone Trooper was really fun. It was really fun. They tried to go a different direction. Why, hello there. But yeah, let's wrap up on the Stormtrooper armor because we are so painfully close. Let's do one of the thigh pieces and then call it a night. Here we go. It's going to be, here's the thing. The weird thing is that the thighs are basically the same shape, if you will, as like the forearm pieces. They're super uncomplicated. All right. Great. Actually, I do need to check because I don't know if the Stormtrooper actually comes to a point there or not, if it's more rounded. Stormtrooper thighs. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It looks like they're not really supposed to come to like a full-on point. Oh, nope, never mind. I'm looking at it. I'm looking a little closer now. And it looks like they might actually... everybody wants to show me it from the front or the back, but not the side. Why are references so hard to acquire? Lord. Okay, so it does come to kind of a point, but it should be a little more rounded. Have I ever used Armorsmith? I do actually have Armorsmith, but when I first got it, I was just still so young when it came to not just like prop making, but who I was. So I was very, very bored by it and like the process of learning it when I was just like getting into Pepakura. So I feel like that's more correct. Sorry, one moment. Yeah, this is supposed to be a slightly more rounded shape, so I'm going to make that more rounded. Alright, I'm just subdividing some edges to make them a little smoother here. I'm not trying to go hog wild on this particular model. Not like we did on the shin piece where we really attacked it. Holy cow. Yeah, no, that's more what I'm looking for here. Love it. And then we'll just go specify cut line edges, removing the entire top edge here because we don't need it. There we go. Yeah, I know it's you. LOL. Here we go. I haven't really used Armor Smith, if for no other reason than I haven't felt the need. It seems like a really good program. It seems like a great program for people who have a lot of trouble with scaling. But as somebody who is not altogether afraid of the math of it, I don't feel the need. I just don't feel the need. Let's see. I might be able to just unfold this as is. This might just be basically done. 42 inches! Why does it keep defaulting to 42 inches? Oh my god, that's so big. Like, this should be like 16 inches, 17 inches tall? Maybe? Maybe? I don't need flaps. There we go. Oh, that's right, there's a bottom edge. It's okay. We'll just get rid of that. Don't need it. Don't need it. Moon River. Oh yeah, no, I try really hard. I try really hard to remember the people who interact with me on this channel. It's a lot of fun for me, and I really enjoy it. I've been having a lot of fun lately. I've gotten to talk with some new folks. We have a new patron over on Patreon. Wilson has joined. Wilson Ferreira has joined us over on Patreon. We thank them immensely. Honestly, I really enjoy interacting with people on this channel. I really enjoy how far the art of it kind of reaches, because I have a lot of fun interacting with folks. I hope that in the future we could get together, maybe do like some patrons only streams and just kind of enjoy it, just kind of rap on like doing new projects and, you know, what everybody's been up to, who's working on anything, because I think that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to join in on those things. Okay, so we'll leave that edge like that. The lower edge is kind of weird, so I'm not going to leave a flap there. Just kind of the way it is. That's okay though. I'm your super friend. Super friend. I'll be there in the nick of time if you're ever in a spot. There we go. Oh, and with that, we are just coming up on the 8 o'clock mark, which means it's bedtime. It's bedtime. Time to go to bed. Oh, Lord. Nah, I'll tell you what it is time for, though. I'm going to sort of make this on center. Yeah, so we got the 2 pieces there, get the piece there. We'll join these edges just like that. Basically call this one done, because it's super uncomplicated. Just like that. Look at that. Because this is like a totally round shape too. It's not like there's something crazy complicated going on in here that I'm going to need to pay extra attention to. Stormtrooper Armor is really just kind of what it is on the face of it. It's a bunch of round plastic parts that are vaguely military shaped. That's it. And I love it. I do. But that's what it is. Go. Run that out. Erase, erase. There we go. And then, of course, no lines on that. Don't need that. Get rid of it. Oh, I left a line there. Whoops. And then, of course, paper settings, because we always have to check paper settings. Even if you think you're all good, you should check paper settings. You just should. Okay, so let's see. 1 thigh piece, 2 thigh piece, and then the sort of T-bone boys. The T-bone boys. Oh god, there has to be a better way to put this in here, but I just don't know what it is. There we go. Ta-da! It's a thigh. That's a good thigh. Good thigh. All right. I think we are just about going to wrap up here. I want to see, because we did the shin, we did the thigh, did the butt plate. The only thing that's left really is the helmet. I think, yeah, I think it's just the helmet, which is great. I'm so excited. So we're gonna put out. I'm gonna put out the helmets right away. I'm going to fix up some of these pattern pieces for the Stormtrooper, because I want to make sure that they're all perfect, right, ready to go out of the printer. So we're just gonna leave you with this awesome image of a Scout Trooper. I want to thank my patrons. I'm going to thank all my patrons, so I'm going to pull up my relationship manager because I don't want to miss anybody. Wilson Ferreira, Matt G, Landon STR, Jennifer Zayer, Pandulce, K-Snake, and of course, Austin of AJ Plays Piano. Thank you guys all for your support. It really helps us out. It helps us do giveaways and things and big fun projects that otherwise would be a little outside of our humble shop bounds. We're barreling towards 1,000 subscribers, and the second we do, we're going to do another really big giveaway. Probably a couple, because, like, holy cats, guys. 2020 is almost over, and so much has happened for this shop, and I could not be more grateful. Thanks, everybody who came out to the stream. Thanks for hanging out with us. For now, I've been Jaden for Foam Armory. Take care, everybody.